Hey there, here we are. I'm talking to Instagram and YouTube at the same time. Today we are going to do a full body workout with no equipment. So you can grab this video and you can take it anywhere with you. Maybe you're traveling next weekend. Maybe you need something new and different and fun and you're out on the road or whatever you're doing. This is that purpose. And it's also automatically modified and adjusted if you're new to me, if you have core stability issues, if you have diastasis recti, if you're worried about anything in that zone, this is already pre-modified for you basically from the beginning. So if you have been working with me for a while and you know that you can up level from where I am, take that liberty. This is your workout. You can go to whatever modification or adjustment level that you need to do, and you can grab weights. If you want to up level and lift a little bit while we're doing this, go for it, okay? Let me adjust my camera angle here. By the way, if you go to carryfit.com/class, there are 85 classes available for you to use. They are full length, they are full body, they are full workouts, and there's a ton of them. So go check that out. Get your first 5 days free at carryfit.com/class. Okay, now is a good time to turn on some music that you like to listen to, because you know what? Music makes it all better, but I don't turn music on because then I get in trouble with copyrights, and so they shut the video down. So I'm just going to imagine music. All right, so we got to get our bodies warmed up here. So just start with your feet close together or all the way together. I want you to imagine that you zipped up something one size too tight from your knees to your sternum. I want you to pull up from the back top of your head and press down through the base of your spine. And we're just going to kind of work the arms around first to sort of make some nice broad arm circles. Now, if you struggle in the shoulder area and your shoulders want to pop up by your ears, then this might take a little bit of time. You want to keep the arms as narrow to the body as you can, and you want to immediately start to engage from here. So drawing the navel and this area between the navel and the pubic bone up and towards your heart, and start breathing into your back area. Breathing and exhaling. And let's reverse the arms. Breathing and exhaling. So immediately, anytime that you move a large lever, whether it's arms or legs, then it's going to challenge your stability and you might feel your body start to sway. That's where core engagement comes in. That's why you keep the center of your body nice and firm and drawn up and in to stabilize yourself from there. We're already getting the core warmed up and the upper body warmed up. Okay, now we're going to warm up the legs a little bit. So let's just start with chair poses, which means that legs are together or close together and you're just bending into your knees. All four corners of your feet are down, so both sides of the ball, both sides of the heel, and come back up. Okay, so I'm going to show you from the side. We're doing this nice easy chair pose down and up, and I want you to keep the alignment from head to tailbone the same. So I don't want you to crane your neck as you're coming down, and I also don't want you to lose that length in your lower back or in that front pelvis area that we've talked about. So a couple of things can happen when we start to squat into the body. We can start craning the lower back and sticking the booty out, or we can start tucking under like this and trying to get the lower back towards the floor. I just want this line to stay the same so that the legs are doing the work and the core is staying stable. We're still drawing that navel up and towards the heart. We're still keeping the ribs in line with the rest of us, and our hips are hinging and our knees are hinging. Okay, so don't drop your belly towards your thighs. Keep it away from your thighs. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. And keep those inner thighs pressing towards each other because it helps to warm them up too. Let's do a couple more. Here's two. And here's one. Now, keeping that same idea, we're just going to start moving our squat. We're going to do 4 this way and 4 the other way. So sitting and standing and sitting and standing. Now, nothing has changed. So I'm not sticking my butt out so much that I'm losing that line from head to tailbone. It's all in line. I'm just sitting and standing. Functional exercise, sitting and standing. Okay, so don't crane the lower back. Don't allow the butt wink to happen. If you know what I'm talking about, that's when you go too low and your pelvis does this weird little wink thing. It can hurt your lower back. We want to keep this all in line and let the legs do the work and keep the core engaged. A really good thing about warming up the legs is that it's going to also Be a little bit of cardio. Okay, so you can move faster or slower than me, I don't care. But you should start to feel your heart rate increase just a little bit of respiratory increase. All that is good, right? Because we want to exercise our heart and our lungs, and we're using the largest muscles in the body, which is our leg muscles. Let's do one more time going each way. And coming back, keeping that head in line with the rest of your spine. Don't crane your neck, just keep going. And last one here. Okay, so now I'm going to have you go into a split squat. Put your feet right underneath your hip bones. When you do that, there's this much space between your legs. So kind of double check that. And don't change that space, just send one leg back. So you're not on a tightrope, they're still apart. Everything's facing the front. Your hips, your knees, your ankles, your toes. The back heel is off of the floor, and you're going to bend both knees and come back up. Now this line stays the same. So again, you don't want to over tuck the booty, and you don't want to stick the booty out. You just want to keep it all in line. Dropping this knee down towards the floor, front knee stays over the front foot. So we're not lunging forward. We're going down and up. Straight down, straight up. If your knee is going past the front foot, then you need a bigger gait. You need to separate your feet a little bit more. Everything's facing the front. Don't forget to breathe. Pulling the core muscles away from the leg muscles. Here's 2, and here's 1. Go back to feet right underneath the hip bones, this much apart from each other. Then bring the other leg back. Everything is still facing the front. Hips, knees, ankles, and toes. Here we go. Back heel is off the floor. One thing that's very common, especially in women, is because the hips are wider than the knees, is for us to do sort of this dropped heel thing in the back where the ankle and the knee turn inward. And we don't want that because that's bad for our knees. So double check that your knees are facing the front, that your back heel is up, that your feet are facing the front, and that you're not doing anything wonky with that back leg or dropping your knee in. It's just going down, down and up. Here's 3, here's 2, here's 1. Okay, coming back up. Now take a wide stance for me. So turn your toes out, turn your knees out, and I want you to start with your hands right here on your inner thighs. Your knee needs to track your big toe. So track and come back up. Track and come back up. Now, I like this exercise because it reminds us to turn the knees out rather than letting them fall in. If your knees are falling in, if they're not following the track of your big toe, then I need you to go a little bit more narrow with your feet until you can. Here's the other thing. I'm not doing this. Not right now. This is not a hinge. This is dropping your pelvis toward the floor. Drop, lift. Inner thigh is engaged to help you stand up without dropping your chest, without sticking your booty out. Keep it under you. Straight down, straight up. Don't forget to breathe. Keep those legs nice and strong. 4 corners of the feet are down. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up. Awesome. Okay, we're going to take it down to the floor. I'm going to adjust my camera angle a little bit. I've got a mat here. You can just use a carpet or whatever you're on. All right, continuing with a little bit more in the hips and thighs. Hands are starting underneath your shoulders, but then come down to the elbows. Forearms are parallel to each other. Do not grab your own hand. Keep them parallel to each other, fist or palm down. Knees are underneath the hips, this much apart, just like we did before. Stabilize and draw your belly up and away from the floor, navel towards your heart. And then lift and lower with one hip. Pretend you're carrying somebody on your back. So this is not a rotation exercise. This is just straight up and down. I want you to dig into the smile between your hamstring and your glutes. So right under there, that's where we're squeezing from. That's where we want some definition, right? So kind of think of it like your inner thigh is coming up towards the ceiling, not your outer thigh. So sort of imagine that the inside is doing more work than the outside. Heel is going straight up toward the sky. Now we never go so far that we lose the line from the head to the hip. It's the same thing I've been teaching all class today. We never want to lose that line and come like this. Nope, we keep the lower back long and the pelvis area long. We keep the core muscles engaged, we keep the neck long, head in line with the spine. We don't lose that during any of these exercises. Don't forget to breathe. Your anchor is the foot that's on the floor. So if you start to feel like you're losing it, put more weight into your anchor. Here's 2, and hold this one up. Hold it. Pull the belly up and in, and then I want you to point your toe and straighten out the leg, flex your foot, and draw it in. Point, flex, point, flex. So we're really digging into the hamstring now, and we've got the glutes stabilizing us. Nice and long through that spine. Do not let that belly drop toward the floor. Pull it away from your legs, away from the floor. Strong all the way through your body from head to toe. Try to keep that leg even, balanced. That glute is holding you. Breathe. Muscles always need oxygen. Here's 2. And here's 1. Now we're not quite done. I want you to come down, but don't drop the knee all the way down yet. I want you to take it out to the side without rotating. Out, down. Do not rotate your body. Do not rotate your body, okay? You're just lifting from that outer thigh, which might mean that it's a small range of motion. What I don't want to see is you turning toward the camera. Don't do that. Keep that body still and straight. Lower back stays long. Neck stays long. Shoulders stay squared off. You're not twisting here. You're just using your outer thigh. Nice and strong. Here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Set that knee down gently. I want you to sit on your heels for a second. I'm going to turn around so you can see me from the other side. What we do with one side, we do with the other. So your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Your gaze is between your fists or your hands, but you're not holding your own hand. Keep the shoulders down back and away from your ears. Knees start underneath the hips. Now we're going to use the other leg. Keep that lower back long. Here we go. Lift and lower. Your anchor is the foot that's on the floor. So use that anchor. Think about the smile in between your glute and your hamstring, and pull up with the inner thigh more than the outer thigh. Heel goes up towards the sky, foot is flexed. Body is strong. Belly stays engaged. Core stays lifted the whole time. Lower back stays long. And we're going to be here for a little while longer, so stay in it. Keep breathing. Keep thinking about your range of motion, how you can squeeze at the top, what difference you can make with that leg there at the top without craning your lower back. So we never go past that point where you feel squeeze. If your lower back is feeling it, I want you to stop. I want you to realign and then start again. And don't forget to breathe. Stay lifted out of your shoulder joint. Don't drop into your shoulders. Stay lifted. Here's 2, and hold it up. Get that nice length here. So point and flex. Point and flex. Keep the leg somewhat parallel to the floor or whatever your range of motion is. Trying to keep that glute stabilizing, the leg, the hips. We've got a nice hamstring work here. Tummy stays engaged. We're going to be here a little bit longer, so just hang with me. If you're beyond the point of being able to stay stable, that's when you take a stretch break and then you come back in when you're ready. And don't forget to breathe. Here's 4, 3, here's 2, and here's 1. Don't drop it all the way down, but bend the knee, bring it down, and then right out to the side and down. Lift. And what you will feel is the core stabilizer muscles having to stay engaged in order to not twist. So it's an anti-twist movement, but it's making your core have to work for it. At the same time that you're working all the way around that hip joint, making your gluteus medius, the side of the hip, stronger and more mobile. All of which matters. Stay with me. Gaze is between your hands. Stay lifted out of the shoulders. Don't forget to breathe. Squeeze at the top of the exercise. Try to make it really efficient, really work. Here's 4, 3, here's 2, here's 1. Set the knee down, sit on your heels for just a second. In fact, flatten out the tops of your feet and sit all the way back on your heels if you can and stretch your arms. How are those legs feeling? All right, we've got a couple more things to do for hips and thighs. I want you to roll onto your back safely. So in order to get there, you roll onto your side and then onto your back. Shoulder blades are down, head is down. Back of your ribs are down, spine is down, hips are down, okay? So we don't stick our chest out, we don't stick our ribs out, we keep all of that down. Zip up from the pubic bone all the way to the sternum. Keep that nice and strong. And I want you to have connection to the floor during this exercise. So you're gonna tuck your hips like your tailbone is gonna go towards the sky. That's your 2-inch, just 2 inches, and come back down. Just squeeze right up under here and down. This is such a great glute toner and also something that engages those deeper core muscles down here. So keep it lifting. Keep the tummy lifting up towards your heart inward, never outward. It will grow the way that you train it. So inward. And just again, imagining that smile between the glute and the hamstring. Legs are parallel to each other, this far apart, just like they have been for a lot of our exercises today. Hang in there with me. Here's 2. And hold this one up, hold it. Get that nice squeeze under there between the glute and the hamstring. Really draw the navel up and in. Take an extra breath here. And then set it down. Okay, I want you to take your right knee into your chest. Give it a little hug for a second. And then I want you to straighten it out. So I've got this semi-straight leg. It might be not totally straight. Do the best you can for today. I want you to flex the foot and turn the leg outward. So not inward, but outward just for a moment. And you've got a plate on that foot. Pull the belly away from your thigh. You're going to bend the knee towards your shoulder and then push. Bend and push. Keep the plate on your foot. Don't drop it. So it's a little extra toning right for the inside of the quadriceps, which is front of the thigh. Okay, and a little mobility for that area around the knee. Breathe. Keep the belly away from the thigh. Nice and strong all the way through the leg. Try to get it as straight as it's willing to be. Now the foot that's on the floor is your anchor. So if you need the extra stability, you're pushing into that leg that's on the floor. Don't forget about it. Don't just kind of let it hang there. It's helping you. It's helping to stabilize your pelvis so that you're not rocking around. Nice and strong. Here's 4, 3, 2, and hold. Grab behind it. Take a moment. Breathe. Bend the knee. Give it a hug. Set it down. Grab the other knee. Pull it in. Give it a little hug. And then take behind that leg and get it as straight as it's willing to go today, and then flex that foot. As straight as it's willing to go, then turn it out so that the knee is pointing more towards the shoulder. Then you've got a new anchor here. Let the tummy pull up and in and release the hands. Keep the tummy pulled up and in. It's helping you. That's stabilizing you right there. So the foot is holding a plate and we're down and up. Down and up. Just pushing that plate towards the ceiling. Nice and easy. Keeping the core stable and strong. Try to get the legs straight at the top if you can. If you cannot, do the best you can today. It's all about mobility around that knee and some strength and toning in that quadricep as well as the core muscles holding that leg up. Nice and stable. Don't lose your plate. Hang in there with me. I can hear my knee. Can you hear your knee? My knee makes noises some days. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then set it down. Okay, I'm going to have you flip back over. We're going to work some on upper body. Now, very important, I'm going to do modified push-ups today, and I'm modifying them on purpose so that we get the form correct. Remember, if you've worked with me for a long time and your modification is different from what I'm showing you today, that's fine. I just don't want you to jump into something that your body isn't warmed up and ready for. So the hands are going to go right underneath your shoulders. I want you to leave one knee right under that hip, okay, right there. And then the other leg is going to come out, and you're going to push back into that long leg. Elbow creases are facing the front so that your arm is going to be super skinny to your body. All right, so then we're bending the elbows to squeeze the ribs and pressing back up. Bending the elbows to squeeze the ribs and press back up. Now, if you're struggling to get your elbow creases to the front and your arms can't come in by your ribs, then it is a shoulder flexibility issue. Work on your shoulder flexibility. I don't want you to go into your shoulder. In other words, your shoulder shouldn't be up here by your ears. Press your shoulder blades towards your back pockets so that the triceps are doing the work here. Keep that body nice and straight. So again, we've got a straight line from our head to our hip, and that is not changing. We're keeping the lower back nice and long and the pelvis area nice and long. Don't lose that stability. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Take just a moment, sit all the way back on your heels and let your arms stretch. Okay, so that one was very tricep focused. So again, if you struggle to get the position correct, work on your shoulder flexibility. Got plenty of videos on that. Look through my YouTube, look through my classwork, get some shoulder work done. Okay, come back up here to all fours. Get the hands back underneath the shoulders and then walk them out a couple of inches. So just a little bit wider than your shoulders. And now the elbow creases are sort of 45 degrees. Keep the shoulder blades towards your pockets. Now the other leg is going to come back, and you're going to shoot energy through that back leg. And now we're going to go more into chest. So breathing on the way down. Elbows are going sort of 45 degrees behind you, not as narrow to the body, because we're getting more into the chest area here. Strong all the way across the front of the upper body and using the back body too. So make sure that you're not falling into your shoulder joint. Lift up and out of the shoulders. Keep them stable too. In other words, I don't want you down here. I want you lifted out of your shoulder joint. So double check that for me. Lift up and away. Core stays nice and stable. Using those chest muscles. Here's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. And here's 1. And then we sit all the way back. Stretch those arms out nice and wide. I'm going to do one more kind of push-up. And this one is definitely a challenge. So I'm going to start it on my knees. I want to show you what it looks like first. So knees, and then bring your hands so that they're right underneath your face. Turn your fingers towards each other with the elbows out. Okay, so we're going to drop our face or head down in between the hands and then push it back up. So elbows are going out, head is coming down, and we've got that nice long line from head to hip. So this is getting a little more into your back, a little more into your shoulder. Okay, and if this is easy for you, then what we're doing is a modified downward dog push-up. So you can come up here if you're comfortable, or if you want to just try a couple of inches from this position. It's a challenge. Pull your navel up and in. Sits bones up toward the sky, legs nice and long, back nice and long. Four, 3, 2, And 1. If your knees are not down, set them down. Go back into that stretch position here. Get those shoulders nice and long. Okay, I want you to have a seat. Anytime that I ask you to sit, I want you to have alignment. Crown of the head up, sits bones down, and tailbone sort of easing down towards the floor like it has a weight on it. I want the tummy pulled up and in and the ribs over the hips. So I don't want your chest forward and I don't want you slouching back. If you struggle here, then sit on something. Sit on a block, sit on a pillow, or even sit on a chair with your feet on the floor. That's fine. As long as you can get this alignment correct and you can get the exercise correct, and if the alignment's not correct, it's not going to help you, okay? So we're going to do forward, forward, back from this position. Roll the shoulders down and back, arms go in front of you, okay? Switch, switch, and then pull the elbows back. Switch, switch, back, switch, switch, back. Now, people struggle when they go out of town or do different things to get in upper body work. Well, here you go. This one's a great one for lots of reasons. First of all, we're working the entire upper body. So we've got chest and back. We've got shoulders, triceps, and biceps all assisting, okay? And then what happens is we're using these large levers, like I mentioned in the very beginning of our warm-up, which challenges your core to remain stable. So as you move your elbows behind you, you might notice that your body wants to shift forward. That's our body's way of compensating when our gravity changes. So what I want you to do is not shift forward, but keep your core stable, pulling up and in towards your heart so that you're not rocking back and forth. Do your very best to do that, okay? Shoulders remain down and back. Challenge yourself to go a little bit faster on your switch, switch, and then get that pull back. Try to get good range of motion here. Here's 4, 3, 2, and I want you to keep the elbows back. Now pay attention to what's happening in the center of your body. Really draw up and in here, stay nice and tall, and then little pulses. Pull the shoulders down towards your pockets, chest nice and open. Hang in there with me. Getting a little bit of rear shoulder now. All this stuff under here. We're really engaging that. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold, then come forward. Set it down for a second, give yourself a shimmy shake. Okay, and now we're going to do something for the center of the chest. Put your elbows together, wrists together, hands together. Name of the game, do not let any of those things come apart until you're done with this exercise. So I don't want to see any of this, and I don't want to see any of this. Ready? Up and down. Sing a happy little song in your head, or hopefully you have some music playing. Pull the shoulder blades down towards your pockets. Pull your navel up and in. Zip up from the floor to your sternum. And keep those forearms together. You might feel a little burn in the shoulders. It's a good burn, right? A little burn here, a little squeeze in the chest. A little stretch for the back. Keep the body nice and tall, pressing up through the back top of your head. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold. Open the arms, hands behind the head. Open the elbows back. Open the chest. Breathe. You've gotten to the stretching part. We love this part. Head nice and long. Okay, release the hands down. Take your hands to your knees. Roll the shoulders down and back. Press up through the back top of your head as you exhale. I really want you to tuck that belly button in, and I want you to round your spine. That's your exhale. On your inhale, stack that spine back up all the way through the crown of your head. On your exhale, round and curve the spine. Pull the belly button up and in, and really think of length in between every single vertebra all the way up to your head. Breathe and sit nice and tall. And then exhale and stretch. And inhale Get nice and long. Now I want you to take your hands behind your back. Now if you're in a chair, you can even grab the back of the chair here. If you're on the floor, you can put your hands down on the floor, just stabilize your body here and just press the shoulders back. Nice and easy. We're just opening the chest and shoulders that just worked. Breathe. Also opening the biceps a bit. So try to open the belly of the bicep forward. Turning to open the shoulders, open the biceps. And then release that. Now let's go into some leg stretches. Take your legs out in front of you. This much space in between. Seeing the theme? Back of your head nice and tall. Shoulders are down. Now if you're on a chair, then I just want you to straighten your legs out to the best of your ability from that chair. It's still going to get some length in the back of your legs. If you're struggling to get length in the back of your legs, then do this from a chair. You can sit up a little bit taller, stretch your legs out, and still have this long line here. Here's all it is. Breathe and then exhale. And just allow the hinge to go from here to whatever it is for you today. Just getting length all the way from the feet through your back. Feet are cinder blocks, not turned in or out. Breathe into that stretch for a moment. Try to allow everything in the legs to release and relax, and see if you've got a little more distance for the hinge. Sometimes you just need to give the muscle a little bit more oxygen, and then you'll find that you have just a little more depth you can give. Sometimes you're at your max, and it's like, oh, we don't go past our max. We don't go past our max. We find our stretch. We breathe into that stretch. We find where we should be today. And that's where we are. Release that and sit up now. We got to do pigeon stretch today. I just feel like we really need it. It's like my favorite. Pigeon stretch is one of those stretches that I teach people and I like to leave them there. We can have like a full-on conversation. Okay, so first start with this sort of Z-sit. We're going to be stretching out this back leg and we're going to be turning our body over the front leg. If you're in a chair, then you're doing this. You're crossing your legs, okay, and just bringing one leg closer into you. It stretches that back of the hip. That's so vital. Now turning, if you're on the floor with me, turning and getting that back leg nice and long and the lower back nice and long. So this leg, the pelvis is facing the floor, the shoulders are facing the floor. This leg is nice and long so that we're allowing the front of this leg to stretch out, okay? And then the bent knee, we're easing towards the floor so that you can stretch out that IT band, which connects your glute and hamstring area, that lovely thick band that helps us do cardio and all kinds of things with our legs. Navel is still pulled away from the floor and away from your legs. Head is in line with your spine. So don't drop your head. Just keep it in line with the rest of you. Lower back and pelvis area nice and long. Like I said, I can stay here for a long time because it just is such a great stretch for all those areas of the hips. But for the purpose of today, we've got to do the other side. So starting this little Z-sit here on the other side. I'm going to start stretching out that back leg. Ease yourself over both legs equally and make sure that you've got that nice long lower back. So for some of you, that means that you're up higher than me. For me, I need to be down here in order to have a nice long lower back, long neck, shoulders toward my hips, and both hips easing down towards the floor, not turned out to the side. Both shoulders are square. Breathe into all angles of the hips. Get that muscle a little bit longer if you've got the space for it. If not, just stay where you are today. Breathe. Oh, and we could just hang out here. It just feels so good. When you're ready, roll yourself out of it and give yourself a nice big breath. And just exhale. And one more time, breathe. And a little exhale. And you did it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Like I said, I've got tons of material on my Instagram, on my YouTube, or you can go to carriefit.com/class. Those are the classes that are not on Instagram and YouTube, and there's 85 of them. They are full body. We do a wide range of things, everything from core stability to core strength. We do yoga, we do Pilates, we do weighted materials, we use bands, we do all kinds of things. So hang out there with me for a few days, see if that helps you. It's stuff that you can do in a little tiny space like where I am, because this is literally where I record my classes. Have a great day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I do appreciate you. Have a wonderful week as well. Thanks, Instagram. Thanks, YouTube.